So you've probably been there too, where you're halfway through a track and you hit writer's block and you just can't seem to find the inspiration to finish your song. Or maybe you're in the mixing process and no matter what you do to it, it just seems like the mix is getting worse and worse and worse. In fact, every plugin you apply to your tracks, you just seem to be losing the life out of your song. Or maybe when you get to the mastering process, you find that your entire track is distorting or clipping or just really falling away from you, and you just can't seem to make your mix sound as cohesive and as impactful as the other professional producers out there, especially in the TV, film, music licensing industry. Well, I've created a course that'll basically guide you through step by step through the entire process, from having a blank canvas in front of you, a blank session. And now I use Logic Pro 10, but this course can apply to you no matter what DAW you use. You use Ableton, Pro Tools, Fruity Loops, even GarageBand, anything that you use. The concepts that I'm teaching in this course can be applied across the board, okay? But I walk you through that step one of just having a blank slate in front of you, not knowing how to get started, to the last step, which is applying your mastering process and exporting various mixes for maybe a TV, film library, music library. A lot of times they're gonna want like 4 or 5 different versions of a mix in addition to just the main mix that you provide. So I walk you through that entire process, what my general philosophy is when it comes to creating, producing music, as well as mixing and mastering. And I also give you specifics. Like I tell you exactly, and I show you exactly what my settings are, how I EQ different instruments, how I compress them, how I send them all to buses, and then apply my mastering plugins. And the craziest thing about this course is that I've created this track that you're seeing in front of you right now completely from the plugins and synths that come with Logic Pro 10. Now, in case you don't know, Logic Pro these days is only $200. And so I've created this mix and this track using only the stuff that came basically with Logic Pro, with the exception of I did sing one part and I did plug in my guitar for some guitar tracks. But other than that, the drums, the bass, the choirs, the pads, percussion, everything else you're hearing in this track, including the mixing and mastering plugins that I've chosen to use, are all the built-in stuff, the stock plugins that come with Logic Pro 10. And the reason why I did that is to basically prove to you that you don't need to have tens of thousands of dollars in software or hardware to get a great sounding mix and be on par with the professionals out there. That's why I did it this way. In fact, what I normally do is I'll actually use like Waves and third-party plugins and a whole bunch of different stuff that I've actually invested in. But I wanted to go back to the basics for this course just to make that point that you don't need to have all that extra stuff to have a great sounding track with a great sounding mix. You just need to know what you're doing. You need to have a great philosophy and a great understanding of what you're doing every time you apply a plugin or a instrument to your track. Oftentimes I'll use the metaphor of a pilot and a plane, that it doesn't matter how awesome the plane is that you're flying. If the pilot sucks, you're gonna have a bad flight and maybe the plane's gonna crash actually. So it's much more important that you have a qualified pilot who knows how to handle an aircraft. And it's the same thing with the music business, that you need to have a fundamental understanding and knowledge of what you're doing when you're creating tracks, rather than worrying about buying the big fancy equipment and the big fancy software programs or whatever to get the sound that you want. It really comes down to having a great set of ears and having the knowledge for how to get your tracks from wherever they are right now to a place where they can be licensed on TV shows, movies, and commercials. So as you scroll down this page, you'll see all that's included in this course. It's over 12 hours of HD video footage. So it looks just like this video. You see my face and obviously hear my voice the entire time. And I actually open up my session and show you exactly what I'm doing the entire way through. So if you want to go ahead and purchase the course, you can click on the button below. You'll get instant access to all the videos. You can get started right now if you want to. But I do have a limited time offer I'd like to tell you about, because I would like to actually give you this course absolutely for free. And the way that you can get this course without paying a dime for it is by joining the Syndicate. Now, if you don't know what the Syndicate is, just go ahead and click on the button below that says, give me this course for free. It'll take you to a page. You'll learn about what the Syndicate is. But in a nutshell, it's a private Facebook group that I've set up that basically gives you access to monthly licensing opportunities. That means that I basically put out calls for all types of genres. In fact, last month we did rock orchestral. This month we're doing trap music. We have other genres coming up. So there's always a need for every type of genre out there. So no matter what music you produce, there's going to be a need for you. But that's not even the best part of being in the syndicate. I also offer exclusive video content, including production tutorials. So just like the stuff that you're getting in this course for free if you sign up with it, you'll get even more extensive production tutorials on a weekly basis. I'm uploading them all the time. I'm also mixing members' tracks for them, and I'm kind of giving some feedback on what they're doing with their mixing and with their production that can maybe improve them. Also, I have interviews with industry professionals that I only offer to members of the syndicate. So you get sort of a behind the scenes look at how the business side of this industry works, how the professionals who are actually doing this for a living actually feel and think and what they do in this business to succeed. And not only that, you can just collaborate and network with other talented producers and musicians like yourself to get yourself into a position to improve your production, improve your mixing, improve your mastering, and also start getting your first tracks out there into the system to start generating some royalties for yourself. Not to mention, with all of that, as if that wasn't enough, you're also going to get my master course, which is my 8-week course. It's 8 hours worth of like an A to Z, like how the music licensing business works, and how to ensure you're approaching it the right way, and how to make sure you have a long-term career. So I basically in that course talk about how the industry works, how the business side of things works, as opposed to this production tutorial course, which is really about the creative side of things. You also get all the digital downloads with that course. So you get the music library directory. That's 200 companies that you can send your music to, you can apply to. They're accepting new writers, and I'm getting emails from my students every single week saying, Jesse, I just applied to one of the companies in your library directory. They gave me a contract. I'm in the business now. I'm actually doing it. So this stuff absolutely works, guys. These companies are accepting new writers, and if your music is hot and up to par, then you have a very good shot at getting into this industry like right away. It doesn't have to take you years and years and years. You can do this pretty quickly. You also get my sound effects pack. That's 342 megabytes of, swooshes, risers, crashes, impacts, 808s, everything that I actually use in my tracks to make sure. In fact, I use them in this production tutorial course, which you'll see once you get involved. I use these things all the time when I'm producing tracks, and they make sure that my tracks sound much more professional, much more on par with all of the other professional composers out there. And you also get my submission templates. So these are basically email templates that if you don't know how to craft that first email to a music library, you're not really sure how you should approach them, well, I take all of the thinking out for you, and all you have to do is literally copy and paste your name, their company name, you put your links to your demos or to your music in there, and boom, you send those off to the companies in the library directory, and I'm basically taking care of the entire process for you. So I couldn't make it easier for you, but even with all of that, again, all of this, none of it will work unless you are going to put in the hard work. You have to actually consistently deliver high quality music. And so that's what I'm really aiming to do with this production tutorial course and with my master course and with the syndicate, is I want to provide for my students and the people who really want to work hard and do this the right way and the serious way. I want to provide you with all the knowledge that you could possibly need, and the feedback and the guidance that I can give you as a professional who's been in this industry almost 10 years. But none of that will mean a thing if you are not willing to put in the work. So if you're not a hard worker, if you're not willing to go the distance with this, and you're not one of those people that you just, no matter what is going on in your life, you just have to make music, and you love creating music, and you love to challenge yourself and try new things. If that's not you, then you shouldn't enroll in anything that I offer, because this is just going to be a waste of time and money for you. This is really only, like I've said from the very beginning, this is for serious producers who want to make making music their full-time job. And a lot of musicians and producers say they want to do this full-time, but when it comes down to actually doing the work and getting themselves educated and putting themselves in a position to succeed, very few of them actually do. So if I'm speaking to you right now and this is resonating with you, then I highly encourage you to just get this course absolutely free by joining the syndicate with the master course. And you can get that again by clicking on that Give Me This Course for Free button below this video. So if you have any questions about this course or about anything that I offer in general, you guys know how to get a hold of me, Jesse@musicmakescash.com. I can't wait to hear from you.